Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and Patreon and anything else I usually go about on Twitter X. Yesterday, I didn't manage to do anything. Was out all day, even late at night. I tried to do something, but I was not capable of doing so. But yeah, today we'll have another Death Stranding episode. I will try to keep 3 episodes per week, so Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays until we wrap up this series. Again, I'm having a blast with this game. A lot of interesting stuff. Again, my sense. Again, I think I'm reaching like the last quarter of the game at least. Yeah, that there is a lot of world building, a lot of lore. I think it's a little bit of a setup of the universe per se. But yeah, I'm enjoying a lot. Plus all the activities. Again, there are some nitpicks here and there that I usually bring about on the game, but nothing that detracts from the game itself. It's just like usually small quality of life stuff there that I think already been presented in Death Stranding 2, from customizations and those little quality of life things, like certain things you can only do. For example, on the backpack customization, I can only do that when I'm resting, and with that said, it advances time. Uh, uh, and sometimes I don't want the time to advance, but I need the, for example, in this specific case, the backpack cover. It's very helpful for smaller deliveries or recovery missions and the such on timefall areas. But yeah, other than that, I'm having a blast with the game. The story can be a little bit all over the place, mainly if you spend too much time without playing like the main missions. It can be a little bit confusing if you're not paying attention and try to keep track of events as they go. I'm trying to piece out a lot of the stuff while I'm playing. Some surprises here and there in terms of the characters and the such. But yeah, I'm enjoying and having a blast with this game, and to a certain degree, can't wait until Death Stranding 2 comes to PC because, again, seeing that all the things that I think the game can improve from what I'm playing, and seeing that from the reviews that came out, they reflect a little bit of what I wanted the game to have a little bit more. It gives me excitement to for this game to come to PC. Again, unfortunately, again, I will have to assume it's time exclusive for the PlayStation. But yeah, hopefully, uh, maximum by the end of the year, we have at least some news regarding the PC port there, and the fact that the game looks even more beautiful than on the first one. But yeah, other than that, we got already some completed gameplay series here. 4K, the most recent ones, 1080p, the older ones. Again, I will try, given time, to play a little bit more demos here and there. But lately, it's a little bit stretched thin in terms of time that I can dedicate to the channel at the moment. But yeah, doing my best, see what I can do. Let's go to the news again. We're everybody knew to a certain degree that more layoffs are rumored to occur, specifically for Xbox. So all the Microsoft gaming, let's say, studios. Supposedly, there are some rumors that should come up to around 2,000 employees and probably some studio closures. By the looks of here, just by taking a quick glance in terms of the studios associated on the Xbox side of things, I might see at least a couple of them that I never heard of them, or I think they are in a very, let's say, they didn't announce anything recently. I'm not sure if they are on the risk of closing down again. The fact that consolidation in this industry is usually not a good sign. It's a good sign for the CEOs and all that jazz because of all the bonuses and all that jazz, and they can have bragging rights of having more studios and all those things there. But yeah, mainly some of these leaks came from the co-founder of Apogee Software, which is now the 3D Realm Studio. Yeah, at least specifically to the 2,000 employees layoffs there. Again, this comes about by the fact that, again, you you have what it was $70 billion acquisition from Activision Blizzard after the huge acquisition from the Bethesda Studio stuff there. Again, it's bound to happen again in any kind of setting when you start piling up smaller companies. There is going to be, first of all, a lot of redundancy in terms of the infrastructure itself, and it needs to clean up there. I assume they already started doing that since the layoffs they've been seeing since the acquisition of the Activision Blizzard, plus all some studio closures, most notably Tango Gameworks and that other free studios that were closed behind or below Bethesda umbrella studios. Even though Tango Gameworks managed to survive to a certain degree, it's being revived. They are setting up the offices and all that jazz, recruiting people. They already have some projects that they are starting to work with. I assume they are pre-production, but yeah. Plus all the fact that again, the big picture, Xbox is not doesn't make up a lot of the Microsoft portfolio. It's a small slice of the pie there. But the fact that, given that they have had a small slice of the pie under Microsoft when they acquired Activision Blizzard for $70 billion, and I think everything is closed in terms of the deals, in terms of the legal issues that they were having there, mainly because of the monopoly considerations and all that jazz. I think everything went through, at least from my understanding. Again, when you have something this big in terms of acquisitions, again, I assume the higher ups there on the Microsoft part of things, they said now you need to slim down a lot of stuff because you need to justify the $70 billion acquisition with some revenue. And we all know that, I don't know why they still insist on this, that again, I think they dive with both feet on this one with the Xbox Game Pass. Again, the Game Pass is a pretty good deal for a consumer because from the consumer's end, you just pay I don't know $15 per month and you get an access of a huge amount of game libraries that you can play around and try out if you want to. So there's no need to have a upfront cost on those products there. But for the company itself to try to justify something that instead of having sales of selling games from $50 to $70, or depending on the premium editions or not, which can lend itself to more revenue, they are just trying to count at least with a guaranteed of, I don't know, I think it's $15, the lower tier of Game Pass. um, yeah, you have to feed the beast because for you to try to justify instead of having sales of I don't know, $50 to $70, you're just getting $15. So to recoup that value, you have to spend almost 6 months or half a year to just for them to justify that $15 for a game sale. Yeah, you need to feed the beast. Plus the fact that you have the considerations that production budgets for games have been increasing. I don't know why. Again, they just keep ramping up the production cost, and they are not going to pay it. They're always going to pass that cost for the consumer. And consumers, to a certain degree, are getting fed up with this justification of increasing budgets because, again, uh, from my understanding, increasing production budgets on any from games, movies, and everything to a certain degree is the justification for the C-suite people that are managing that they can justify to having more money, and when you have more money to spend, um, again, it leads itself to. I assume more bonuses at the end of the year if they manage to get some revenue. I think they thought that they could, I don't know, have more sales, have more revenue to justify uh, the more spending that they are doing to a certain degree. But I think to 20, the ends of 2024, the beginnings of this year have been wide opening experience for them. We have been having a lot of smaller studios with smaller, like huge, very smaller production budgets, selling a lot of games or a lot of copies of the games that they are putting out. Um, from, for example, last year we got Black Myth Wukong selling 20 plus million copies. Even to a certain degree, like even though it's a bigger studio now from software, for example, Elden Ring, with the expansion, they sold around 30 million copies. Then you got, for example, smaller studios. We got this year Expedition 33 selling at least 3 million copies, which give them a huge boost in terms of revenue. We got even, for example, Celebrate with just around 3 million copies also since they launched the PC port, sold like 1 million copies in 3 days. Again, it's huge boost in revenue for that small amount of production cost. Then the revenue is they went to get so much money that they are offering incentives to their own internal staff. From, I think that the last one they bought Switch, Nintendo Switch 2s, when they went for the Celebrate on the PS, on the PlayStation, they bought even PlayStation 5, so everybody inside the development team. Again, this will continue. By the end of the day, this will continue to happen because there is no way for them to justify if they cannot have enough revenue, if they are launching games that are not selling. Because again, if then comes around the fact that a lot of these production budgets, to a certain degree, the games are made by committee. With bigger studios, there is less focus on the direction of what the game should be to a certain extent, and try to please everybody. And at the end, you are not going to please anybody, especially when you have already some legacy IPs that have been around for some time. People are expecting from a certain IP a certain thing, and when you deliver something very more generic or bland that doesn't conform to that perception of that IP, again, you don't sell those games. Even though from time to time, for example, from Bethesda, we got the Indiana Jones, seems to be a pretty good game. Even though a lot of people were worried, including me, of certain things, mainly because of the movies, how they have been, and the treatment of that IP. The Indiana Jones game seemed to be pretty decent. Um, Again, we got talking about Bethesda, we got the Starfield fiasco. Again, that game is not going well. And there is a lot of worries regarding Elder Scrolls game, the next one. But yeah, we've been seeing from here and there some good games. For example, Activision Blizzard, I think the main thing was about the King games there, the mobile games, and to a certain degree, Blizzard, I don't know, because it's been on the downturn for a long time now, from Overwatch to even Hearthstone, which was a game that I played, but I lost completely interest because again, it was impossible to have a free to play experience decent enough for you to enjoy the most part of the game. Then you got the Call of Duty stuff there again. It's starting to drag. At least for me, it always seemed the same game, reskinned and with a little bit more graphic fidelity and all that jazz. But again, I don't know. They really need to shake things a little bit. I think they really need to slim down their studios. Not only for cost things, but in terms of the creative direction and vision that they have for the games that they have under their umbrella. I think they'll need a little bit smaller teams. And then again, because it's such a huge studio under this Xbox umbrella, um, I think they can help each other to a certain extent when it comes to outsourcing, so it can cut down a little bit the cost of the productions there. Again, I'm not sure, but yeah, we will continue to see this for sure. again, 2,000 employees at this moment in time is almost 10% of the working force, at least from Xbox. But yeah, this is something that we'll continue to see for sure. Not only from Xbox, but also for PlayStation. Again, the failed projects, especially they're trying to triple or quadruple, or I don't know how many times they already announced this on the games as a service thing strategy. Again, they continue to go that route, trying to brute force themselves through the market. But again, it will continue to fail, and they will have to continue to fire people. But yeah, then we got also again one of those things, FBC Firebreak, so the Alan Wake or the Control game, Federal Bureau of Control Firebreak. They made an announcement they surpassed 1 million players. Again, we come about the thing with 1 million players. I usually don't care too much about 1 million players. Again, this game, when it came out also on Sony PlayStation Plus service, and also the Game Pass since day one of the launch. So the fact that they are announcing 1 million players, I did a coverage of usually the shenanigans that happening on the numbering side of things when people play games or interact with the game itself. Again, I think I don't know, 80% of the or 800k players that interact with this game. I think they, I don't know, installed, turn up, played like, I don't know, half an hour, see how it goes, and then they just uninstall. And to a certain degree, again, that counts as one player. I think at least 80% of the players that are part of this 1 million might be kind of example there. Or I think even when somebody installs the game from when they are having the Game Pass service, even an install counts as a player, depending on how they want to fiddle with the numbers. So yeah, this 1 million players is just a show off of trying to pretend that the game is very successful. Because again, better indications that for access of the game, especially on Steam, is the graph of the concurrent players. We usually have a graph of how many players are playing the game at the same time. Usually it's a more reliable indicator, because it's not depending if somebody installed and didn't play, or if they tried for a couple of hours or not. It's exactly if people are playing the game or not. And the best that they had on Steam was almost 2,000 players as a peak. At this moment is below 100 players, concurrent players. So yeah, plus the fact that the reviews are mixed, which is right about the 65% of positive review. Again, it's a little bit tiring. People already caught up with this 1 billion per shenanigans. It's not 1 million sales. So again, I really hope this game could do a little bit better. It seemed interesting what they're trying to do, at least lore-wise, from the Control IP. But yeah, seems to have a lot of issues still to patch up there. Then we got a big update from Stalker 2. They are going to, I think they already launched the patch 1.5, fixing a lot of the AI stuff from the routines from the NPCs and enemies, and again, and also adding some modules, which is always good. Again, I think the main things is the AI, or the A life system that they have there. Also in terms of NPC spawning points, and a little bit of the field of view stuff there, to try and get a little bit more immersive there. Again, and I assume a lot of patches from I don't know, bugs and the such there will be included there. But yeah, it's a huge patch. I think it's around 30 gigabytes, so it's something big. I assume it has to do a lot with the A life system that they have, which it's trying to routines of NPCs and enemies and all that jazz. I think they fixed a lot of the what they call A life. The director will no longer respawn characters at the edge of visualization. Visualization range is slight increase also. and there is the play can meet same stalkers after some time, so there is all those routines happening in the background. I think they fix a lot of it, so that's why I think the patch is a little bit bigger than usual. Hopefully this game really does come about and be a little bit better, because there was a lot of issues on the launch of this game. But yeah, I like the one that I played a lot of years ago. I don't know which one. It's one of those of the three that were launched. I don't remember. The I really did enjoy, but yeah, hopefully this one can improve a little bit more so I can try it out. Then we got yesterday Capcom Highlight or Spotlight or whatever they are calling showcase there, and only three games caught my interest per se. One of those was Pragmata. Got a little bit more explanation of and a little bit visual aid of what the combat will look like. Again, I already covered this, that people were playing some demos here and there, and from what they saw, we got this hacking mini game, or basically you play basically with these two characters, so the Diana, the android, and the Hugh, the astronaut. We got a little bit more context of the setting, which basically Hugh was part of an engineering crew to repair something on the moon station, and he got separated from his crew and basically encounters Diana in the meantime, and they team up together to escape the moon base there. Diana does a lot of the work regarding hacking, from enemies, doors, puzzles, helping on the puzzle stuff there. And basically, the enemies are kind of a tank to a certain degree. And with this hacking mini game, you need to do the hacking first before you try to shoot the enemies out, because again, it's got the protection there. So basically, basically you don't do any damage. Here in the article, they call about deep dive. Again, it was about around 5 minutes. The same trailer, the same last trailer that they provided. They did the same here, so around 2 minutes, and then they just give some highlights of the game so people have a better sense what this game is about. But yeah, as you can see, you need to do like the first Bioshock mini game thing here, which is go through this puzzle. Got some blockages here. This is a 5 to 5 grid. I think depending on the type of enemies, the grid can increase or not, and there is going to be, I assume, different blocks for you to complete the puzzle, so you need to get a certain route there. But yeah, basically the optimal thing to do here is go through the blue squares to reach the green one, which is to activate the hack. And again, if you cannot do all three, you can do the two. But again, I think it decreases the amount of damage that you can do for each shot or something like that. Or also has the time thing when they open up after being hacked. The time that they are open for damage, if you don't do the full puzzle, it's the time is diminished on the opening to do damage. Very interesting. I'm not exactly sure how this will play out. It just gives some highlights here, a little bit of more gameplay showcase to see exactly an encounter, for example, a simple encounter, see how it really works in terms of the uh, of how you do the hacking or when you encounter the enemy. I think this is has some locking mechanism for the enemy, because you can encounter several enemies at the same time. Then you have to prioritize which enemy you go first with this hacking puzzle, and then try to do damage and then go. So you have to prioritize a little bit there. There are different types of weapons. You can see here like a grip gun, shockwave gun. Again, I think depending on what the guns do, you can prioritize that also. But it's good. I would like to see a little bit more gameplay, seeing you encounter an enemy. What's the next step? Does it have like an auto lock? So the this mini game starts immediately. It's something you have to do manually, and then afterwards, until you wrap up the enemy, do you need to do, or uh, better put, if you fail to do something like this, do you have like a cooldown on the puzzle to try and immediately do the hacking game again? Again, there's some questions that I would like to see answered with the gameplay showcase. But yeah, very interesting navigation. The guy has some jetpack stuff there. to navigate through the levels there. I would like to see a little bit more navigation explanation there, but again, it was mainly about highlights of what this game is about. Uh, I'm curious. I'm still excited to see more about this, to have a better sense of what this game is. I think they are trying some different ideas here and there, which it's always good to see. And we were going to have this as a playable demo on Gamescom. So by the end of August, if not mistaken, maybe we can get a better sense from feedback from people that play this at Gamescom. Then you got, again, a brief look. It's the best way to put it on Resident Evil 9. Again, we got some good information. Again, supposedly this will happen 30 years after the bomb was dropped in Raccoon City. So it's 30 years afterwards. Again, it's also next year the franchise will making 30 years since he came out the first game. So there is a lot of, I don't know, symbology there. You play as Ashley Ashcroft. Again, at the time, we saw some rumors regarding this. They were wanting to make this game for you to play as Leon Kennedy. I think it was Leon. Um, I think it was Leon, right? I think so. But again, yeah, Leon Kennedy. But the fact that the way they, I don't know, wanted to be game to be more horror focused, they thought that playing as Leon, given that Leon is like a combat veteran and all that jazz, big bulky guy, doesn't scare easily. They were trying to go for somebody that might try to reflect better the player experience from their perspective. Even though, again, she's supposedly an investigative. Um, uh, I don't know exactly what she does, but from the FBI. Um, and even though she can be a little bit proficient with the guns to help you again give a little bit more immersion in terms of the weapons that you use, but again she's not a field agent, so she's always on the background in the offices. So they try to reach a balance with this character. There was some stuff regarding the some mentions of this character in Resident Evil 7. Again, I don't exactly know the timeline of the games there. But yeah, this game will supposedly will you will be returning to Raccoon City 30 years after the first bomb was dropped there to try eliminate the zombie outbreak. And again, the game is a requiem. Again, I'm not sure if this translation is correct. A eulogy to those who came before. Resident Evil series that was born on Umbrella, Raccoon City, Zombie Outbreak, and you choose the title Requiem to mark a milestone in the series. Again, it comes around the 30 years anniversary of the franchise next year, and the fact that this game supposedly takes place 30 years after that event there. There is on the Resident Evil page more in-depth interviews. Again, we only have like 7 minutes, I think, from Resident Evil Requiem in terms of information. But the main staples is the main character, the philosophy, kind of what they're trying to do here with the game. You can similarly also play the game in first or third person, and you can change cameras on the fly, so there is no need to go to the menus and such. So very interesting. But yeah, it's the to mark the 30 years, so it's again going about and go back to Raccoon City 40 years after that event there. Basically, that's the idea that I got. And then lastly, they went about it, I don't know, at least 20 minutes on Monster Hunter Wilds, the free title update 2. Again, this game is not in the good position at this moment in time, especially on PC. Again, it seems that the more content they had in terms of PC performance, it tends to get a little bit worse. Um, yeah, I don't know what they're doing there. I think they should focus a little bit more on PC performance, because one of the main things that lately, in the last couple of weeks at least, this game went from mixed or mostly positive to overwhelmingly negative in terms of recent reviews. And I don't know, 99% of the complaints is about PC performance. A lot of people are getting a lot of stuttering, some random crashes here and there. pop-ins and pop-outs every time they launch the game. Again, it seems that they need to focus a little bit more on the PC performance and the fact that they are just adding content without patching up the performance of the game itself. It seems to just compound the issues that the game has. It's basically one of the main reasons that I even stopped trying to cover too much of what this game is offering there, because again, if a game to a certain degree to the majority of people is not being having a satisfying experience by the fact that you got a lot of PC performance. Again, this is kind of reminds me a little bit of Dragon's Dogma 2, even though they think they're going to launch more content soon. At least there's some rumors about it. Again, the game was performing very poorly on PC, not very well optimized. Again, I think it has the fact that they had to do a lot of patchwork because I think that again the game engine was made from the build up for kind of Resident Evil games, so it's not suited. At least the latest versions, I don't think is very well suited for open world games, even though it seems to be capable of doing good. But I think on the engineering game engine side of things, it needs to be patched up in that sense to try and be better optimized for open world games. Because again, Dragon's Dogma 2 and Monster Hunter Wilds are open world games. They have a lot of issues regarding optimization, specifically CPU loads and usage. It seems to be a big issue. Because again, we've been seeing the Resident Evil games and games that are coming out, or smaller games, even every game from Capcom is using the To the Moon engine. But yeah, I think they have an issue that they need to fix first regarding optimizing this game the best that they can to the PC platform, because again, I think it's where the majority of the sales are happening for them. And the fact that people are not liking this, and again, the fact that you have as a showcase, you go to the Steam page, you see overwhelmingly negative feedback from players. People will tend not to buy the game if they are curious about it. But yeah, they announced more monsters, layered weapons, additional features. Then got some festivals here. Again, I don't like that this much with games when they start to do a lot of crossover stuff there. Event Quest, Fender, special collaboration, guitar stuff. Again, I think it breaks to a certain degree some immersion, even with this Street Fighter 6 special collaboration. Again, it removes a little bit the immersion of the world itself, even though I understand why they do it. But again, I think can breaks a little bit the immersion in a world like this, having electric guitars to play with, or bringing other characters from other IPs that don't have anything related to this one, except by the fact that they are from Capcom, under the Capcom umbrella of IPs on there. Yeah, usually I'm not that much of a fan of that. Um, Again, specifically on this kind of IP, it's very specific. For example, Death Stranding, you can try to justify to a certain degree the collaborations that they have with Cyberpunk and even Half Life, because the way the world is set up there, you can to a certain degree manage to get around that. But again, in a fantasy world like this, which doesn't have to do anything with Street Fighter or even with real world electric guitars, whatever. Again, I just think that they need to put their shit together regarding specifically optimizing the game for PC. Then, yeah, we got some gaming deals. Sorry about this. Okay, we got Summer Games Fest. Again, it's on. A huge amount of games are on sale now. I will focus on today's episode on games that I have on my library that I can recommend. Plague Tale Innocence seems to be a pretty good one. It's 80% off. You can also buy a bundle with Plague Tale Requiem. Again, when I have time, I will dive on this IP. It seems pretty interesting on the puzzle side and the physics side of things there. We got also Alien Isolation. 75% off. I really do recommend this game. I did a gaming series on this one way back in the day. It's on the 1080p series. I will eventually redo this game in 4K because I think it still holds up graphically wise, and I like the aesthetic of the game, and plus all the the survival mechanics and management resource. I think it's a pretty good game still to this day. Then we got Palatro again. I didn't play too much on the PC, but I played a lot on my cell phone. Again, I didn't do everything on the game, but it's a game that I really do enjoy, and I do recommend it. Again, it's 10% off, but still, if you like this kind of deck building or a roguelike kind of a card game, again, this one is for you for sure. We got also Batman Arkham Collection, again, around 80% off. Again, I think it's a pretty decent trilogy. I enjoy playing the first two. I need to one of these days play the third one. But yeah, I do recommend this bundle. We got Control Ultimate Edition. I really did enjoy the game, the setting, what they're trying to do there, the connection to a certain degree with Alan Wake. It similarly is very good. The integration between the Remedy connected universe, I think it's can justify. Yeah, and the combat is solid enough. But yeah, the weirdness of the universe is really interesting. I really did enjoy very much this game, so I can recommend it, of course. We got Dead Space remake again, still on sale, 80% off. I can recommend this game at this price point. Again, I did a gaming series on this one. If you want to check out, it is on the playlist on the main page of the channel. Deadlight, same thing. Again, at this price point, I can recommend fully. It's a cheap game at this price point. It's kind of a shorter experience. This is one of the first games that I did a gaming series on. Very interesting, kind of a side scroller, kind of puzzle light thing there. But yeah, I can recommend at this price point. No questions. Uh, then you got again Death Stranding, the game that I'm currently working on and playing. Again, 60% off now. Again, director's cut is the way to go. A lot of improvements in certain things. And yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's a Kojima game. I'm having a blast with this game. I cannot recommend enough. We got Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, 85% off. I can recommend this one. I played it long time ago. Yeah, I really did enjoy this one. And then we got the follow up, Mankind Divided. I played a little bit. It's been a while since I played this game, but I can recommend it from what I play. I enjoyed the experience, and it's also 85% off. Got also Doomkeeper. I didn't play that much, but I played more the demo than the main game. But it's that kind of game loop that I, from time to time, I like to get around. And it's 60% off. I can recommend at this price point for sure. If you like this kind of games, again, this is one of those that you want to get. Got Elden Ring. It's on sale. Only the base game, unfortunately. Even though I can recommend Shadow of the Tree. Again, I did manage to do a stream playing through Elden Ring and Shadow of the Earth Tree. There is some VODs on the main page of the channel. Again, it's Elden Ring. What can I say there? We got jusant, 55% off. Full recommendation at this price point. A very interesting experience. I did a gaming series, of course. You can check out the first couple episodes to have an idea what this game is about. Same thing can be said for Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. The deluxe edition, I think it can be justified there because of Seed of Evil DLC. It expands a little bit more the story there. Very interesting mechanics on turn-based kind of RPG to a certain extent. But yeah, I really did enjoy it, and I also did a gaming series on this one. Then we got Planet of Lana. They already announced a sequel. I really did enjoy this one. Also, very similar to Jusant, so no dialogue. It's more about the experience of doing the puzzling and the storytelling being made by the visuals itself. But yeah, 75% off. Again, it's a no-brainer if you like this kind of experience. Yeah, $5. I think it's more than worth the price of admission here. Then we got Resident Evil franchise is on sale. I will leave all the Resident Evils games on the description below on the gaming deal section there, so you can pick and choose and complete your collection. Then you got Slay the Spire. Again, if you like roguelike deck builders, this game is for you for sure. It's 75% off. Again, it's a no-brainer. Very, very excellent game if you like this kind of deck builder kind of roguelikes. Again, it's all in one package, that's for sure. Then you got the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and the sequel also. They are on sale. So Fallen Order, I can recommend the base game at this price of the mission. There's still some technical stuff there here and there, but nothing like game breaking or anything like that. And then we got the sequel, which improves to in almost every sense from the first game. It's not a perfect game, of course. You still have some performance issues here and there, some stuttering, but it's pretty basically patched up to the point that it you don't will not notice that much, at least from the time that it was launched. And I can recommend at this price point. Again, there's no need for the deluxe editions unless you want lightsaber customization and the skins and all that jazz. I think the base game is more well done enough. Again, the story from both games are serviceable. It keeps you going on the side of things. But in terms of gameplay mechanics, they are a little bit more improved and expanded on Jedi Survivor. Then you got The Evil Within. Again, I can recommend this at this price point. And also Evil Within 2, 80% off. Again, I made a gaming series out of it. If you want to check what this game is about, you can check the first couple episodes to have an idea. But yeah, very good horror game. Some interesting concepts that they are doing here. Then you got Tomb Raider Definitive Survival Trilogy. Again, I played the first two. I made a gaming series of the second one, and I need to play the third one. One of these days, I will do the trilogy. I will play them back to back to have a better, proper sense of this trilogy. But again, pretty solid from the both games that I played. Hopefully, the Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a good conclusion. But yeah, I do recommend this price point, 85% off. So again, got the editions of all three, so all the extra content is there included on those games. Then you got XCOM 2. Again, stamp approval for my part. Almost 500 hours on this game. What I recommend is you buy XCOM 2 collection. So everything associated with the XCOM 2 packages, you buy everything, mainly because of the mod stuff there. Again, the first playthrough, I always recommend vanilla. And then all the after you complete the story, when you want to restart again, there are huge amounts of mods that can change drastically the way you can experience this game, from gameplay tweaks to even to different completely different classes and completely different abilities, completely different ways to of being new enemies, types of missions, everything. There are mods for everything in this game, which again, depending on how you want to go about it, it can completely change the way you perceive the game here. Again, a lot of again, huge recommendation from my part, that's for sure. And then you got the kind of the follow-up, which is Chimera Squad. Again, it's not XCOM free. It's I don't know why it's now mostly negative. Again, I'm not sure if people are expecting this to be XCOM free. I'm not sure they have the wrong idea there. But again, from what I've been seeing, it seems like some experimentation happened here in terms of the way to approach combat, and it's a little bit more focused, so not that open, a little bit more story focused, and the interactions that you have with the different squad elements. I think in the one run you cannot unlock all of them. Again, there are some choice and consequences in that sense. But yeah, I think people thought it was kind of almost an XCOM free, but it's not. And I think from what I've been seeing, there are some interesting choices that they do here on the gameplay that are very interesting. Again, it's a smaller game, as you can see, 85% off. Again, it's not a huge game in terms of length, but it seems pretty good. for what it's trying to be there. Uh, but yeah, for today, I'll wrap up here with a plug my Patreon. Uh, Next couple of days, I will try to check more better gaming deals from my wish list. But yeah, I'll wrap up here for today with a plug my Patreon for extra support. This extra support is more aligned for me to try and get a better storage solution so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.